to see if there's further questions for HN1. We haven't quite got the end of his questioning yet. This isn't a proper break. Currently, Emma Gargeter is in the public gallery with a queue of all the lawyers going to ask her to ask further questions. We've been listening to. It's been a good hour of his.
Hours.
Yeah, it feels like it's been hours and hours, but the last hour. Off screen is Alison from Police Spies Out of Lives, who has been sat next to me listening to all this tripe for the last 48 days, actually.
Yeah.
But
25 years.
25 fucking years, feels like it. So the reason I managed to convince her to come on one of these, as she very rarely wants to, is one of the, HM1 was being asked in turn about his mentorship of a number of former undercover officers, including HN26, cover name Christine Green, Jim Boyling, James Thompson, but significantly, as far as Alison's concerned, Mark Jenner. Touchy subject.
Yes.
So what did you make of what HM1 had to say?
Well, none of it's new, is it, really?
No.
That's, I suppose, the main thing, in that they, it's police protect themselves,
Yep.
They behave like a gang,
Yep.
they cover each other's arses.
And, amongst other things.
Yeah, and the main sort of takeaway is he writes in his statement that he did know, he was, Jenner was deployed from 95 to 2000, and there's an overlap of a couple of years, and I think HM1 was his mentor, and he says he did know about the relationship with me. He didn't know whether I was one of his targets. Management knew everything, which is interesting, because Bob Lambert said that he didn't know anything when he was there. So management knew everything. He was asked, did you and management know they were living together? He said yes. So that's all. I'm thinking, that's interesting. He's actually telling the truth. And then it's just wonderful. They then pull up his Operation Hearn statement.
I was so funny.
From when, like 10 years ago or something?
Something like that, yeah.
2012, 13. In which he said, no, he didn't know at all. And he's only learned about it through the media.
Yeah, and then, but what was found particularly hilarious. What I found particularly hilarious was he wasn't. We are filming, but it's fine. What I found particularly hilarious was that he tried to claim that he wasn't contradicting himself at all.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we'd have to look at the wording of the various things, but he particularly talks such rubbish. And thinks if he can say enough 3 and 4 syllable words in an order, any order actually, then eventually you'll just give up listening and not really ask for any more sense to be made, which is sort of what, in a way, almost what happened.
I mean, it is kind of what's happening. It's why everything has taken so long,
Yeah.
and I think it's a tactic by him. It was quite. I mean, the most unbelievable thing that I heard all throughout his whole evidence, I've got to be honest, is the statement from Gretchen that he only answered in monosyllabic ways, and it's just like I can't even visualise that him ever doing that. But I mean, there's been so much of a difference between the people we see in front of us at the inquiry and the officers as they present themselves when they were deployed undercover.
The other thing that was interesting about just sorry, I feel slightly hysterical because we've been in so long and there's no air, but that he describes Mark Jenner as hard as nails.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah,
he did. Which I think is like quite very direct.
Very direct.
Which is interesting. I mean, look.
Did you consider him hard as nails?
Yeah,
very direct.
Yeah, I did, and that's why I'm quite interested, really, because I think one of the questions that those of us who, we all knew these officers, thought we knew them well in one way or another, is that, I know I bang on about it, but that overlap of the Venn diagram of their real selves and their fake selves.
Sure.
And that was it. It just makes me giggle that like this man who was perceived to be hard as nails was living this very sort of middle class, comfortable lifestyle with me, which wasn't hard at all, and very soft and cosy and comfortable. So it wasn't that hard, was he?
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, quite. Yeah.
But no, the biggest thing, and also that they pointed out, obviously there was Jim Boyling, there was James Thompson, there was Jenner, and there was another one as well. Oh, him, and there was another one. Wasn't there a fourth?
James Thompson?
There were 4, yeah. Thompson,
Jenner,
Boyling,
Christine
Jenner,
Green.
And Christine Green. So there were 4, plus him is 5.
Oh, and all of which he contradicted himself on nearly every single one of them. Like he said he didn't. Oh, he wasn't sure about the Christine Green and Joe Tax thing until later. pulled up to it turned out he introduced Christine to Joe Tax.
Many words. But I suppose he then tried to say, yes, but it's a very small proportion of the squad. Well, don't we know there was 10 in a squad at once? So it's at least half.
Quite.
I mean, it's verging on half. It is half, actually.
But
him in it.
And
Cole. I mean, I know they're a little bit...
Come on, I mean, who wasn't is the big question, right?
So, and anyway, the big thing that I'm most interested in from that bit, I mean, there's been hours of all different sort of stuff, but that bit is the management knew.
Yes, the management knew. That's coming. I mean, he says that the management was so sophisticated there wasn't anything that they didn't know.
Sophisticated with a small s. What is sophisticated with a capital S? Is it a shop? Is it a furniture shop?
I mean,
a glossy magazine? Sophisticated.
There was a few other things that since I last did an update that he mentioned. He talked about his meetings with the big guns, and I've noticed that one of the big guns is actually watching right now, John Curtin, who has been constantly telling me off about my use of the word tranche.
Quite right too.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, he talked about being in meetings with the big guns, and there was big guns who would talk a lot, and the lesser guns who would listen. And he was kind of taking through who were the big guns and who were the lesser guns. Turned out he was the only lesser gun, since everybody else was a big gun. But he'd managed to get himself into these rooms with people, was completely trusted despite never getting his hands dirty with anything at all.
No, squeamish yesterday.
Squeamish, yeah. Squeamish as a police officer.
No, that's such bollocks. It's
such
bollocks, honestly. I mean,
he is such a bullshitter.
And pompous and arrogant.
Yep.
The pomposity and his...
Yep.
Honestly, I mean, I know I say this every time. I never think they can get worse.
Yeah.
It's just they're in front... Well, they're not in front of you. You can hear them. And this one is just repellent. They're repellent in different ways.
Different ways. Yeah, I mean, I think the closest one to him is Bob Lambert. They've got that similar sort of talking forever, different styles, but just long.
He's got the arrogance of Coles.
Yes, he has.
Coles,
yeah.
Arrogant and pomposity.
Oh,
who
so
do you
much
think
pomposity.
you are?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, it is probably he is probably unpleasant to listen to in any way.
The only thing I hope is that the wall that is separating us from the hearing room is sufficiently thin that they can hear the uproar and hilarity of our response with so much that he says, because it is,
there has been quite a lot of laughter.
There has been a lot of laughter
and a lot of zingers. Which it used to be just us making the zingers every now and again, but now I've noticed that certain lawyers have joined in.
Yeah, who shan't be named.
Who shan't be named under any circumstances, obviously not.
Okay, but it's been worth it, I have to say. I didn't expect an audio feed from no face, no. I didn't expect it to be quite as entertaining or as engaging, but it has been. I mean, I know somebody said, we're not here to be entertained by this, which is a fair point.
Sure.
But there's no other way of getting through it.
There's no other way of getting through it.
Dark humour.
You've got to have the dark humour, otherwise it's just unbearable.
The other thing, which is earlier on today, and we put it on Twitter, but this cunning plan.
Oh my God, the cunning plan.
Also goes to that's what they did. They took the piss all the time internally, and the names. Magenta Triangle is the code name for
James
Thompson. What is it even? And what's the other one? Road Bridge, yeah.
Christine Green.
Christine Green is Road Bridge. Jenna was touchy subject. I mean, they've said, didn't they, that they've said something like, well, these code names they don't mean anything. They were just random. Bollocks, were they random? They're just really taking the piss. All the time. Psycho Dream is Jim Boyling, but the cunning plan.
Psycho Dream is like fucking hell.
Yeah, because
There's so much that could be said. There's a lot that could be said. We are on just a short break. We will be going back in for further questions for him. Also, there is some things apparently that Emma Gadgeta has prepared, which she hasn't got to yet because she wants to get the Rule 10s out of the way. What time is it now? It's 6:45. It's going to be 7. It's going to be 7 easily. Before we get out of here, I'll do a longer video at the end.
And then it'll be the end of the second tranche.
That'll be the end of the second tranche. JC saying, stop saying it. It was very funny. We should probably go back in. Come on. Thanks for joining. See you all in a bit.
Thank you.